So, it's all over. 13 episodes of what I thought was to surely be an incredible show and give us something that can retell its great story from the manga, but the question remains, can it be correctly translated to the anime medium? Does Coppelion deliver? Or is it just pretty visuals trapped inside a story that's rushed, awkwardly paced, and frustrating, or something that really does truly shine? Let's see what I can do to help answer that question for you. Now, Coppelion are the product of genetic mutation. They are dolls, as every human character won't fail to point out to you every chance they get. But the characters feel distinctly human, which draws you to the characters and makes you feel for them. By them, I mean Haruto and Ibara. The others do their jobs but don't really break out into full-fledged characters that you should or would even care about. So after a nuclear reactor meltdown, Tokyo is ordered to be evacuated, though some weren't able to make it out. Enter our story and characters. The three main characters of the rescue unit, dedicated to finding survivors and evacuating them as follows: Ibara Narise, the Don't Let Anyone Die team leader, Taeko Nomura, resident animal lover and apparent master surgeon, and Aoi Fukasu, resident whiner, fun-sucker, and / worst part of the show, depending on what forum you are on. With secondary additions like Haruto and the Ozu sisters, Aoi gets less screen time, which is a good thing. A very good thing. If I wanted to have someone follow me around and whine all the time, I'd just call my little sister. Instead, I get stuck with Aoi. The animation is what originally drew me to this show. I was a little nervous about the translation from manga to anime, but it does seem like they've done a good job translating one to the other, and for that it's commendable. Now, one of the things that really kind of stuck out to me at the very beginning of the show was how beautiful they made the old capital look. Instead of your traditional brown and gray tones of a post-apocalyptic explosion, we get a city that would look like what it would be if the environment was allowed to be alone and rebuild itself. And that's one of the things that I enjoyed most. The colors used didn't make me feel like I was inside another boring world or game where I was seeing the same thing over and over. They made an effort to give us something fresh, which is commendable. One thing I hated about the animation more than anything else is when you get different types of character designs in the same frame. Here's an example. Half the characters are being drawn with this thick black border around them to help distinguish them from the rest of the background and characters, while the rest are very thin borders. As stylized as this is, it's jarring to watch it move in and out while trying to maintain a cohesive story arc, where this is not a deal breaker, but it is annoying at the very least. As for our characters, after a fair amount of thought, I've decided the only characters that are worth their weight are Haruto and Ibara. Though they and the supporting cast of characters are very one-dimensional and you can see their actions, emotions, and how they'll react before they do it, it is still enjoyable even if it's predictable. Even with the introduction of the Ozu sisters, which I was very excited for, I feel they just didn't get anything accomplished for how easy their goal was. Though that's what the story calls for, again it's predictable, and that takes some of the fun out of watching it. With regard to sound design, aside from the opening and ending songs, there isn't much here for me to be excited about. Not much repeating sounds, which is great, but the sounds of the buildings crumbling, the guns blazing, the eeriness of the old capital is phenomenal. It's something that I was very, very happy with. The soundtrack didn't pop out to me like I was hoping it would, though I'd rather listen to less music and hear it repeating less often. When you do hear the music, it does emphasize its point greatly, whether it's danger or something that you should feel sad about. The sound does make you feel what you should and does get its point across. Overall, Coppelion is enjoyable. Even with its slow start, it kept me interested enough to check back every week. Once the first division and Haruto show up, it really takes off and becomes something that I enjoyed and I can very easily recommend. At its length, I don't expect it to have much character development, but they try, and where they do get a good development out of most of the cast, even if it's predictable, I'm still okay with that. I'll be interesting to see if we get a second season with Studio Gohan's at the helm of Marduk Scramble fame. I'm hoping we do, and with that said, it's time to give Coppelion a score. I have to give the show 3 out of 5, with the recommendation to watch it. It's available for legal streaming on Hulu right now with good subtitles in 1080p, and you will want to watch this in full HD if you can. So did you watch Coppelion? What were your thoughts? Leave a comment and let me know. Feel free to tell me what you think, and if you want me to review something for you, I'll make sure to get to it. Until next time, guys.